Let's see if we could do this in one take. So, this has been on my mind for a couple of days, just on my silly little brain. But, someone called me a people person the other day, and I guess I'm inclined to agree, you know? It's really had to think about, you know, what does all that mean? So I guess a people person is someone who is really comfortable just, you know, interacting with other people, really takes enjoyment out of it, just kind of a rough definition. And I would say that's definitely me. The person who called me that the other day, it was at work. This lady who works the front desk at this business, she's pretty dour, you know, looks like she doesn't talk to a lot of people all day. She's just really rough to approach, but I've seen her, you know, for like the last year and a half now, every once in a while, and you know, I've warmed her up a little bit. We've chatted now and then, and I don't know how we got on it the other day. We were talking about animals, and because it does feel good, you know. She legitimately gets happy when she sees me, because this route it's up in the air right now. I fill in sometimes. It used to be like my route for a while, but the people covering it don't take care of them like I did. This business does a ton of outgoing mail and incoming. It fills their box. They fill the outgoing box at the cluster box at the end of the business park, which is kind of far for her to go anyways. So, you know, I usually bring her mail and I sort it, make sure everything that's there is for her, and you know, she appreciates it. So we chat every once in a while, which, but I think her name is Kara or Karen. I actually don't even know her name, which, to be fun fact, I'm absolutely awful with names. Most of the time in a conversation, I'm never going to say your name because I probably don't fucking know it, but you're not going to notice. It's so funny that way. But man, I don't know how we got on the topic, but I mentioned something about, like, you know, animals, and she started just out of the blue telling me about this dog she used to have, and how, you know, she thought it was supposed to be a small breed. It ended up being like a Basset Lab mix, and it was like super goofy proportions. This dog was just goofy. She hated the dog for a while, but it quickly became, you know, her favorite pet she's ever had. Man, and then you couple it with, she had a cat named Marley, and Marley had some health issues, and he just struggled. So the dog, brilliant dog, the cat was declawed. If, you know, she'd let the cat out in the yard, and if he disappeared somewhere, she'd tell the dog, go find Marley, and the dog would go hunt him down and then herd the cat back into the house and everything, and they were just inseparable, you know, bonded pair. And he fast forwards, and, you know, she tells me about when, you know, Marley went into renal failure, and, you know, they had to put him down. That really devastated the dog. And so when the dog was, you know, failing health about a month later, so they took her to the vet and laid her on the table, and out of nowhere she started running, you know, and Kara is like, oh my, you know, are you trying to find Marley? Like, go find Marley, you know. And she's comforting the dog and everything. The dog's running faster and faster, then slows down, and she's like, you know, I'm sure Marley's glad to see you. And then, you know, dog passes in that moment, and I'm just over here like, look, lady, I'm just here to deliver the mail. That was beautiful, you know. And she, out of the blue, she's like, you know, you're really a people person. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, you remind me a lot of my nephew. And she starts telling me about her nephew. Used to be a teacher, used to do all this sort of stuff. And then, you know, I told her, like, hey, by the way, you know, I used to teach for a little bit, you know, once upon a time. And she's like, what else have you done? Because, you know about, like, the issues my cat has. Like, well, I worked at a kennel and a rescue as well. And she's like, well, what else have you done? And, you know, you start going down the list of just a couple of things I've done. And she's like, you have such a powerful story. Why don't you share it more? And I'm like, oh, you know, just out here delivering the mail, just taking it one day at a time. And she's like, you know, I really appreciate you talking with me and stuff. And it's just, all of this was completely of her own volition. You know, she didn't have to tell me about all this stuff, and it's just, that really felt special. And then it reminded me at Further Confusion this past weekend, you know, I walk a bunch of friends over to Gyukaku. They're gonna go have lunch. I didn't want food. I actually ended up going on a 4-mile walkies around downtown San Jose, which that was fantastic. But I went to leave the restaurant after they went inside, and this random barber stops me and he said, "Hey, you know, I love your hair, you know, afro. I really need tips on how to cut black hair. Can you help me?" I was like, "What? Okay." So I have a 15-minute conversation with this guy, and he's asking all sorts of questions, and he gave me his phone number. He's like, "Hey, mind if I, like, you know, ask you any questions in the future or anything, or if you're ever in town, like, I'll cut your hair, like, don't even worry about it." It's like, sure. And that was great. And then I'm with some friends at the fursuit photo, or just the fursuit hangout after the big photo, I think, and a bunch of guys came up to me. Tons of people around, fursuiters, people not in suit. I'm just standing with my backpack, my Polaroid camera, and, you know, these guys came up to me and they're like, "Hey, you know, we're new here. We don't know what's really going on. Like, can you help us?" And they just start asking all these questions, like, you know, how do you be a furry? Like, you know, do I need like a character or anything? I was like, "No, man, let's just be chill. You know, it's like, these suits are really cool. How expensive are they?" I'm like, "Kind of expensive, but, you know, you can take pictures with them and all this stuff you want." And they were just like, "You know, thank you so much. You know, you really answered some questions." They went and got a badge, and I saw them later that day. That was fucking cool. And then I think it's Sunday. I'm out there with Gilfy at the coffee shop a little ways away. And again, you know, I'm with people, but 2 cops come up to me and they're like, "Hey, so what's all this stuff going on right now?" And they're asking questions about furry. We essentially were like, "Yeah, it's like anime. Don't worry about it." But it just makes me laugh, dude. I'm apparently the most approachable motherfucker on the planet, and it just makes me laugh. But I guess that makes me a people person, right? I can't begin to tell you the stuff people just tell me, or how comfortable people are to just like walk up to me. It's absolutely wild, and I don't know what to make of it, honestly. It's really cool. But I guess it kind of comes from just how I approach life, right? You know, in my past, I've spent a lot of time alone, some of it intentional, some of it not. And that's a lot of time with my thoughts, right? A lot of time for introspection, a lot of time to, you know, figure out who I am. I know who I am. I know my stories. I'm kind of bored with them, you know? It's always something else to do, but until I'm doing it, you know, I know me, but I don't know you. And I think you're way more interesting than I am. You have way more stuff to talk about than I do, and I fucking love that. And I guess it kind of shows. And that shit's just, it's fucking wild, dude. I love people. People are so cool. And honestly, that's just wrapping it all up. I really came to the conclusion, why do I enjoy streaming? I know I'm not done it in a while, but it's like, I think it's a way for me to meet other people without having to leave my house. That sounds bad. But it's a way for me to attract people that I can get to know on my terms while everyone gets to be comfortable. And I've met some incredible people since that's honestly the fandom in general. I don't know what I would do without the fandom, honestly. But it's so fucking cool. And I guess I stream for a really selfish reason. You know, I want to meet other people because I want to hear their stories. You know, I want your stories. That's kind of what I hoard, honestly. I was joking with a friend the other day. I hoard the intangible. I hoard interactions. I hoard what's special to other people. That's the thing that it razzles me up. So, well, not razzles, but it gets me going, honestly, to see somebody geeking out about something they're interested in. Like, you like it? Fuck it. I like it because you like it. Like, that's so fucking cool. I don't know. It's just been on my mind for a while, and I've been meaning to do a lot more of these videos, but life happens, you know. We get to it. But it's really fun. People are really fun.